All right, let's get into this, man. 2026 NBA mock draft with full 2-round predictions, pro comps, all that. Now, we doing a full-on mock draft stream. I'm gonna do both in one video, both in one stream, but not all in one video. So if y'all do want to see the actual mock draft, I'm gonna be doing like the video. But we finna get into a reaction first because I got my own little my board. But for when I do the mock draft, but we're gonna try to do a full-on first round, so we get through the whole first round. But we're gonna get a little refresher, 2-round predictions with pro comps by Bleacher Report. Let's get into it. All right, I don't need to see the clarifications. I know how this works. Number 1 pick right now, DP. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I don't know what I just read. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Darryn Peterson, number 1 pick. Even with all the stuff going on right now behind closed doors, is kind of odd to me. I don't see Anthony Edwards at all when I see DP. I see Shai. I don't see Ant. I see a little bit of Shai and Kobe. I definitely see I see why people say Kobe, but like, I don't know. I think it's Kobe more so because he kind of do take some stupid shots sometimes, and that should be net. But he like shooting over people. Like, he really remind me of Shai in terms of he get to his spots and he gonna score, but he really don't create as much separation as Shai either. But I also don't see the athleticism of Ant, personally. But Ant this year has been crazy, so I don't know. I really don't know what. I don't know if I would comp anybody to Ant. He's literally like 23. He's gonna keep improving so much. I don't really know what Ant finna be at this point. So I would say like a off-brand modern day Kobe or Shai. That's pretty much what I would say right now. Offensively, defensively, he's okay. He's nothing crazy, but I think he got a crazy wingspan, size. But it seemed like off the court, I don't know what's going on. It's all type of stuff been going on with him in Kansas. So I don't know, but he's crazy talented for sure. I don't see him going 1 right now though. Who is it? The Pacers? The Pacers get the number 1 pick. Okay, I'm guessing this is without a lottery. So the Pacers have the worst record. The Hawks with the number 2 pick because the Pelicans. And they already traded Trey. They end up with Cam Boozer. I'm not going to lie. If you're the Hawks, you take DP or Cam Boozer. You chilling. I'm going to be honest. You really kind of hoping if you're the Hawks that you can get DP though. If you can get a guard like that with size that can play both ways and can score like that, him and Jalen Johnson, that's a good little combination you got for the future, in my opinion, personally. Next, bro, pause this. Like, bro, trying to go crazy at the top right. Sacramento Kings, Dybantsa. I already don't really like I don't really like Dybantsa as much as I did. Coming to the year, I was saying, bro, is T-Mac. I still see the T-Mac, but after somebody said RJ Barrett, I genuinely see that shit. So I'm like really thinking T-Mac really was only like that for 1 season. Outside of that 1 season, what really was T-Mac? What would T-Mac be in this era? And I'm low-key starting to get diluted into being like, would T-Mac just be a better RJ Barrett? So I don't really know what they really gauge him with. But all I'm gonna say is if you think about the traits and the size combination, that is a number 1 pick caliber player. But when you watch him, I ain't gonna lie though, I do see a little bit of Jaylen Brown too, especially modern day Jaylen Brown is very, very good comps. So I don't know. Dybantsa is a very, very tough person to try to do. You can even throw in the Paul Georges. Like, it's a tough comp right now. It's a very tough comp right now in my opinion. But I do think the size athleticism combo is like very early Paul George, T-Mac type vibes. But in terms of like his shot diet and the style of play, I definitely can understand the RJ Barrett. And definitely when you think about the mannerism when you watch him. So it is kind of tough. I do like the Jalen. I didn't even look at these comps. Okay, this is disrespectful. This is actually kind of disrespectful. I won't lie. Anthony Edwards, okay, I've seen that one. Alfred Sengun, I don't see. He's much better defender coming into the league day 1 than Sengun. I think what people kind of confuse defense because he's not like a crazy shot blocker. They think he's not a bad defender at all. He's a good defender. He's not like an athletic, big, shot blocking rim protector. Well, I don't think he's a bad rim protector. I just don't think he's a crazy shot blocker. I think people kind of underrate that aspect. I think he's a very good, smart defender, very good positional. He's just not a uber athlete, in my opinion. I honestly still look at Cam Boozer as one on the level of like an Anthony Davis level prospect, in my opinion. I just think these other two are just as good. But I do think there is a sneaky guy. I want to see who they got at 4. 4 Caleb. Hey, This is my guy. I ain't gonna lie. All I needed to see was a couple games earlier in the year, and I knew he was gonna be nasty. And he kind of, the fact that he been keeping this going is, this is crazy comp. Nah, I'm gonna keep it being. This is crazy comps. Now when I'm saying DP reminds me of Shai, Kobe, I'm not saying he's gonna be as good as Shai or Kobe. It just, that's who he reminds me of. That doesn't mean he's gonna be a Hall of Fame player. I'm just saying, in terms of players that I can think of when I look at his game, those are the guys he reminds me of. When I look at Caleb Wilson, he reminds me of guys like Giannis, KG. You could even throw in Bam, but the Bam comp don't make sense to me because defensively he's a much more playmaker where Bam is not. You're not going to really see Bam's impact on the stat sheet. Caleb Wilson is going to give you what Bam is giving you, maybe not to the same level in terms of the versatility, but he's also going to be on the stat sheet. Caleb Wilson offensively is so much more aggressive than Bam that I just don't really think you can even do the comp. But his mentality is just very, very, very reminiscent of like younger Giannis and KG. So I really like that comp for him. Is he going to be as good as either of those guys? I wouldn't bet on it. But in terms of the way and style of play, that's who he reminds me of, personally. He had also a combined 4 for 20 on long twos. So he has they saying he has no touching traffic. I think the scoring is not what you should be expecting. But the fact that he is scoring and there's obvious ways that use him offensively, I think is why he should be in these talks with the top 3. But defensively, he's, in my opinion, the best prospect in the draft, personally. And that floor is what's going to really keep him high, in my opinion. Then at 5, Kingston Flemings. Okay, so he's actually rose. George Hill comp, actually, when you watch him, this is a comp that actually makes a lot of sense when you watch him. And people may be forgetting how good George Hill used to be, but he was a role player, I won't lie. But in terms of the style of play that these guards are nowadays, where you have to be able to be a good defender, knock down shots, and be able to create for yourself off the dribble, George Hill is not a bad comp at all to have for a guard. Now, I don't know if I want to pick a guard at 5 and my comp be George Hill, but this is kind of the other end of the spectrum where maybe I'm saying Giannis and KG as comps. I don't think he's going to be as good as those guys, but maybe I'm saying George Hill is a comp for a player, but he can be a better version of that guy, especially in this era. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those type of deals, I would say. All right, next we got Jane Quintance. I know I said Caleb Wilson, best defender. This is a guy that you could definitely argue. When I watch him, I don't see the Bam shouts, especially offensively. As bad as Bam is inconsistently, this guy is nothing close to what Bam is, in my opinion, offensively. In terms of a playmaker, in terms of a driver, Bam is a bad finisher. In my opinion, his shot selection in terms of the middies is not great, but he does have the ability to do those things. I don't really see him even having the ability to do those things yet. Maybe he can grow to being that. And Bam, when he was coming into the league, he really didn't have that in his game. So we'll see. But I do think defensively, I understand it. Koa Pete. Now, Koa Pete to the Hornets is an interesting placement. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't know exactly what the Hornets need. I feel like you could say they have a need at center, but Dybantsa and Kalk have been very solid for them. You could say the big man position in general, when you think about, they only have really 2 real bigs, but Salon has actually been a little bit better than this year than last year, and he's actually had pretty good impact. Miles Bridges, I've heard he's finna probably get traded. I don't know. He's a tough one. I definitely don't see Wendell Carter Jr. as his comp though. I don't know what's going on there. That one don't make no sense personally. Mikael Brown Jr. Now this one is one I'm actually pretty confused at. Anthony Simon is actually a pretty good comp because I definitely see, when I look at him, I see Dame. But when you watch Anthony Simons, you also see Dame. Who's a version of Dame? In my opinion, Anthony Simons. So I actually think this is actually a really good comp for him, in my opinion. I actually see that. So I really don't know how I feel about him because he's not being what people was acting like he was going to be. And when I watch him, you can definitely see the inconsistencies. And the shot that he has is a lot of variance in it. So it's going to be tough to really comp him. Now, I've never even heard of this. Braylon Mullins, Aaron Nesmith. Over some of the guys that I have on mine, I'm a little confused with this one. Especially to the Thunder. I don't think the Thunder would make a pick like this, but maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do. Okay, Lebron. Yeah, he been rising. I'm not mad at this. Mike Conley, though. I don't know if I see this one. I'm really trying to think about Mike Conley. I may just be underrating Mike Conley, but I don't think Mike Conley was moving like this. Mike Conley was a very good defender that had 3-and-D ability, really good playmaker when he was in his prime. But I don't really remember Mike Conley being like this crazy change of pace point guard, personally. I could just be forgetting on that. That could just be me forgetting. And if he does, that is actually probably a really good comp. But I don't really remember that. But Mike Conley definitely had a shot. He definitely was a good defender and definitely was a good point guard, in my opinion. Especially for those Memphis teams. I just don't remember too much of how much change of pace. Maybe I'm just only remembering old Mike Conley with the Grizzlies, though. Keaton Wagler. Okay, 6'6" shooting guard, Jamal Murray comp. Now, this is two guys I'm not too knowledgeable of. Interesting. So he got good creativity, shooting, and playmaking IQ. Okay. His lack of explosion and burst raises questions. Okay. Interesting. Darius Acuff. Now, this is where I'm like, why is he falling? I don't really get it. What is the last two dudes doing over him? And there's still some guys that I got over Darius Acuff that's in my top 14 big board. So I'm a little confused how he fell, how he this low, in my opinion. Darius Acuff, in my opinion, if the Heat got, bro, I take a dynamic athletic guard that can play both ends right now for sure. Darius Acuff, in my opinion, got potential to do that. I like Darius Acuff in terms of his upside personally. We'll see though. Thomas Huff, how you say that? Jeff Green. Jeff Green is if I'm a role player in this league, coming into the league, and I get a comp to Jeff Green, that's low-key music to my ears, bro, because that's a guy that lasted a long time in the league. 6'9", size, shooting, athleticism, and IQ, hustle. That sounds pretty similar to Jeff Green coming into the league too. So that's not too crazy. Yaxel at 14 to the Spurs. Yaxel to the Spurs is diabolical. That is diabolical. I ain't gonna lie. That is actually diabolical. When I look at Yaxel, it's another one of those where it's like, is he gonna be as good as Tatum? Probably not. But he reminds me exactly of Tatum. When I look at him and watch him, I see Tatum. That's literally all I see. I don't see nobody else. Is he gonna be as good as Tatum? Probably not. Nate Ament to the Heat. The Heat do need size, in my opinion. For the way Spo wants to play, we need versatile size. But I think we need more Pelle Larsons in terms of guards that have size, but that can create for themselves, play off ball, and be very good defenders on the other side. I don't think Nate Ament may be that at 6'10". If he's that would be a very good fit with how the Heat want to play. I just don't know if that's the right pick for the Heat right now. They do need more Pellies, but I don't know. Like, Pelle was a second-round pick. I don't think he would go second round if they did a redraft of that now. And again, there's guys on my board that fit the bill of what I want the Heat to get that still haven't been picked. So I'm not mad at Nate Ament because of the size, especially if we do end up moving on from Andrew Wiggins. We'll see. That's not a bad one, but we'll see. That's not a bad one. Especially in terms of the Heat's development, they could definitely develop him into something probably. Okay, huh? Okay, some of these guys I don't have on my board at all, and they way above some of these guys. Okay. Compared them to Mo Wagner, probably because he's from Germany. So, it's just kind of what that one is. Okay, let me read him at least, because I haven't even heard of him. Consistently produced off his combination of size, soft hands, post game, and offensive rebounding. Flashes of face-up work, athleticism in the open floor, and three-point range that separates him. Okay, 6'11", big with all that. That's an interesting profile. Can't lie. Joshua Jefferson. Okay. Kyle Anderson. That's another role player that's lasted a long time in this league. So that's an interesting one. Haven't heard of him, but I'm kind of getting concerned with this because it's some guys that's not on here that I'm kind of confused at. Okay. Patrick Ngongba 2, the second. Junior. I don't know. It won't revolve around production and stats. Aside from his appealing physical tools and touch around the basket, the tape shows outstanding instincts and processing. There will be certain NBA teams drawn to his passing and ability to facilitate from the inside the defense. Okay, so he's a good playmaker. He's a good playmaker, and he's not a good scorer at all. I don't even say he's a good defender. I'm a little confused by that one. I'm gonna keep it a beat. Amari Allen. I'm actually confused now, bro. I'm like, bro, we're 19 in, and I'm talking about half my top 14 ain't even been said. So I'm actually confused thoroughly. Like, this not making too much sense to me. But okay, what does he bring? Reliable production and interesting versatility drew near and unfamiliar eyes to Amari Allen. Okay, maybe I'm just not knowledgeable of everybody. I do think that this is a ridiculously good draft class, but some of these guys just not even they're not even sniffing the list right now, which is kind of surprising me. Maybe I did over exaggerate on half. It's really just 3 guys that's not on here at all yet, and we at pick 19, pick 20, Ade Mara. Okay. 20-year-old from Spain. Roy Hibbert, 7'3", had a lot of size. Okay. Tunde. This is one of the guys I was saying. Tunde, him falling in the Thunder Brew to get him is diabolical. Diabolical. NBA teams thinking we'll have them banking on Tunde's physical tools, athleticism, and motor for transition scoring, easing buckets, and defense. There are visions of a higher ceiling. Has shown some fall away shot making in enough range to make 1.5 threes. There are also questions about the value of a wing who has more turnovers than assists and isn't a surefire shooter. Yeah, see, I'm gonna keep it a beam, bro. I have him in my top 10 because of the upside. I think that the defense, athleticism, and sheer offensive ability that he's shown already, in my opinion, that a lot of teams are gonna be really liking that. Now, him not being the best playmaker, I think that only matters if you're picking him to be a star. But if I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying, I'm seeing role players picked in the top 15, I think that this is a guy that can be a role player early on and develop into something much more if you nurture it right. So I don't really personally, and I see the Cam Whitmore thing is like he kind of failed because he didn't really have a motor. He wasn't buying in. I don't see that anywhere on here. The question is more so turnovers to assists. He's not a playmaker, and shooting ability, which is something that these 2 things he can improve at, but that's not gonna be his main game in the league, in my opinion. Bennett Sturts. Okay, sorry, they gave you the Hornets, Bennett Sturts and Cole Pete. That's your 2 guys. Malcolm Brogdon. I'm not a big Bennett Sturts guy personally. Kareem Lopez is still 2 guys that I haven't seen taken. I'm not gonna look at the second round. I don't think it's really much of a point. Maybe I look at the second round and see what these guys I got just fail. But okay. Kareem Lopez, I've heard a lot about him to see. Franz Wagner is a big comp. That's a big comp, and I can understand. Has been out-muscling NBL forwards, bigs on drives and finishes. That sounds like Franz. His size, physicality, and improving perimeter skill continue to create coveted scoring versatility for a projected NBA power forward. No post, mid-range, or pull-up game will just put extra pressure on. Okay, so no, this is not Franz. This is not Franz. Franz can play out the post. He can play out the mid-range. He has a pull-up game. So this is not Franz. I don't. Just because he can drive, and then you didn't even talk about his defense. Franz's main game is driving and defense, but he also has a pull-up game. His issue is his percentages, in my opinion. Your first options are Yaxel and Wagler. Okay. Braden Burries. I heard a lot about him. Isn't Arizona like undefeated right now? I'm surprised these Arizona boys not getting picked higher, bro. Especially with them being still young. I'm surprised by this, to be honest. A big breakout for Braden Burries had been building leading up to Arizona's game against Alabama. He went into takeover mode in the second half, finishing with 28. Polished scoring guard out of high school. Got off to a slow start, but has clearly unlocked his confidence. NBA teams typically want guards his size to offer more playmaking, but he's backing to looking like a first-round 2-guard prospect. So 2-guard at 6'4", I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be able to play the 2 at 6'4". It depends. If he has defensive versatility, he can get away with it. But if he doesn't, I don't think that's gonna work. Cameron Carr, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of surprising how much, bro, these dudes are falling. Okay, what does he have to his game? Breakout, 22 points per game, 41% for three. Combination of shot making, an explosive bounce. Okay, hold on, this sounds good. Shot making with athleticism and a projectable off-ball scoring ring. So he can be off-ball. He's not really an on-ball, I guess is what they're saying. They'll night tight or creative with his handle. Manages to get himself looks just by using his first step. See, this sentence right here. This sentence right here. That screams may not work in the league. On ball. Serious elevation on his pull-ups, fall-aways, and three-point ball. Now, this part right here screams will work in the league. This part screams off ball. This part screams no matter what scoring gonna go, it's gonna travel. So, okay, we at pick 26. I still haven't seen either of these two. Tyler Tanner. Tyler Tanner seriously as an NBA prospect, and then he went for 29 points and 7 assists in a win over Alabama. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. I think we can use our context clues. I don't know if he's going first round. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. Whoever made this. We just seen Trae Young get traded for nothing. Ja Morant is probably finna get traded for nothing. You seen every team that's like in the sweepstakes for Josh saying they really are reluctant or don't really want him. I'm sorry to tell you guys. The NBA is going away from this. I said this a couple years ago with the Darius Garlands, the Trays. Darius Garland had a very good year last year. Look at Darius Garland this year. Teams are going away from this small guard, especially 6 foot and under. At minimum 6'3", but even now those are kind of getting pushed out. So unless you like Jalen Brunson level scoring, Curry level shooting, you got to be bringing something to the table at a consistent value to be this hype. So I don't think teams are picking these first round no more personally, but who am I? Who am I? Christian Anderson. I've heard a lot about this guy. Christian Anderson. Darius Garland. I think I seen somebody else say he's Darius Garland. So I'm interested in him. 26-11, 27-5. His college career and NBA draft stock may have peaked in December at Madison Square Garden, where he carried the Red Raiders back from a double-digit deficit with potent shot making. Scouts do worry about his. See, this I'm not worried about. This and wingspan is the combination you need to worry about. Weight is not as hard to put on in the league as height. You can't put on inches, pause. But you know what I mean. You can put on weight. You get with an NBA team, people help you with that type of stuff, nutritionists and all that. They can help you get on weight if need be. The height and wingspan you can't really change. Did Henry Visar get took? Nah, he doesn't. I haven't seen him. Chris Annett. Now, this is a guy in my top 14. I'm guessing because he's not projecting as a scorer, they are dropping him. I see a Bobby Portis, but I see more so a Jaren Jackson Jr., where he may not be the scorer of Jaren Jackson Jr., but defensively, he reminds me a lot of Jaren Jackson Jr., in my opinion. In my opinion. Okay, so they saying he's not even a good defender. I thought Chris Annett was early on was a pretty good defender. So they saying he has not been able to long-term project with appealing shooting potential, athleticism at the rim, and worrisome limitations as a creator, passer, and defender. So they saying he's worrisome as a defender. That sounds like Bobby Portis. Won't lie, that sounds like Bobby Portis, especially early on with the Bulls. So I'm not mad at that then. Henry Visar. Okay. Isaiah Hartenstein, 74.1% at the rim with 36 dunks. Oh, this is the same thing I was saying about Kalk. You got the size, you got the efficiency, you're getting picked. Oh, but also Kalk was more so, he had the size, efficiency, didn't really have the 3-ball as much, but he was very good defensively and rebounding. So this is not quite Kalk late first round that somebody gonna get a steal as much because of defensively he's not supposedly as good. He's more so an offensive guy, so I don't know about this one, honestly. Now that I see that. There's still somebody that I didn't go out. Malik Thomas, I'm surprised he's this low, but there's still somebody else I didn't have. Now I understand this. Jordan Clarkson, that actually makes a lot of sense. I'm not even mad at that, honestly. Dash Daniels, so Dyson Daniels' little brother. Okay, I gotta see where bro. Okay, so he went 32. Hedo Turk. I'm surprised at this one. I'm very surprised at this one. This may be an overthinking this situation in my opinion. He's still young, great size with the versatility to his offensive game. Doesn't generate much rim pressure. His shooting has been inconsistent. Low defensive playmaking rates indicate troubling athletic limitations, and he's been turnover prone. This sounds kind of similar to KJ, what they were doing to him at the draft. And KJ's been, when he's got minutes with the Heat, he's been one of our best guards, in my opinion. So I honestly think, I'm not buying in on the defense regardless. I think offensively, he projects as a very good guard in the league. Maybe you have to play him at the 3 because he's so tall. I don't know. And he doesn't have the athleticism. But I actually think he's going to be pretty solid. So I'm going to stop it there because I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to see where that was going to go. Simple as that. Ooh, the Chargers just signed McDaniel. That's an interesting pickup for the Chargers. I ain't going to lie. That's actually an interesting pickup for the Chargers. But hey, back on the NBA mock draft. That's going to be it. I'm finna do my own. If y'all do want to see that, like the video, subscribe. All that good stuff out the way. I'm out of here.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!